So, AI is coming for advertising, right? But here's the twist. It's probably not coming for the jobs you think it is. In this explainer, we're going to uncover who's truly at risk, who actually holds a surprising new advantage, and why the future of creativity might be brighter than ever before.
Okay, so let's start with a pretty wild question. Can an AI actually write a hit commercial? Now, you might think that's a new question, but what's really surprising isn't the answer. It's how long ago we found it out. This isn't some brand new development. This story has been playing out for, believe it or not, over a decade.
I mean, get this. Way back in 2014, a Japanese agency trained an AI on thousands of award-winning ads. Then they set up this showdown, their top human creative director versus the machine. And guess what? The AI won. Its script for Clorets Gum actually went on air. Fast forward to 2017, and suddenly you've got these bold predictions flying around that AI would just wipe out 80% of agency jobs. Back then, it sounded like pure science fiction. But today, well, it's kind of becoming our reality.
So to really get what's going on here, we have to back up and ask a really fundamental question. What do advertising agencies actually sell? Because, it's not just about making ads.
Well, it really boils down to two things. On one hand, you've got service. That's all the functional, day-to-day, repeatable work. But then, on the other hand, you have ideas, and those are the big, brand-building concepts, the really rare stuff. And the imbalance between these two, that's the key to this whole thing.
And just look at this imbalance. It's kind of shocking. About 85% of what agencies produce is just that routine service work. That leaves just a tiny 15% for those game-changing ideas. And this lopsided model, yeah, that's the core vulnerability right there.
Okay, let me give you a perfect example. So in the same week, this race car driver, Franco Colapinto, was in two completely different ads. The first one, for a brand called Actron, was pure service. Just a straight-up announcement of a new product. Simple. But the second one, from Mercado Libre, now that was an idea. They used this really clever humor about him being a substitute to build the brand's entire personality. See what I mean? Same guy, but two totally different levels of impact.
So when we're talking about this service work, what do we really mean? Well, think about pretty much all the digital advertising you just scroll past every single day. The website banners, the daily social media posts that just have to go out, those simple product announcements. It's all that functional stuff that just keeps the machine running. And this is the big threat. This huge 80% chunk of agency work is like perfectly made for AI automation. Generating banners, writing social copy, even creating basic video ads like that Actron one we just saw. AI is already doing it, and honestly, it's doing it pretty well.
And look, this isn't just some theory from an article. When Mark Zuckerberg rolled out his new AI ad tools, he just came right out and said it, that they could do an agency's job. He basically declared the agencies are over. Now, he tried to walk it back a little, but the message was crystal clear, and you know what? He was right. The service part of the ad business, it's being automated away as we speak.
Okay, so if AI is going to handle all that routine service work, then what's left? And this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. It goes from being a problem to a fascinating opportunity. Because the person who's left standing at the end of all this, well, it might not be who you think.
All of a sudden, the whole game flips, and it starts to favor the generalist. I mean, think about it. A specialist, let's say a copywriter or a designer, they focus on one single task that, frankly, an AI can now replicate pretty easily. But a generalist, someone who understands how all the pieces connect and provides that strategic oversight, that is much, much harder to automate.
So if we take a look inside a typical agency, who is that ultimate generalist? Who is the person that already has that bird's eye view of everything that's going on?
It's not the superstar creative director. It's not the media genius. It's the account manager. Yep, the role that's often just seen as the relationship builder is now, suddenly, in the most powerful position in the entire agency.
And it makes perfect sense when you actually stop and think about it. They're the ones managing the client, the budget, the timeline. They have to understand strategy, production, and media. Their entire job is to connect all the moving parts, which makes them uniquely, almost perfectly, prepared for this new AI-driven world.
Okay, so if that's the opportunity, what's the solution? How do you actually grab it? Well, it's going to take a fundamental evolution of the role, a real shift from just managing stuff to truly leading.
So here's what that new career path looks like. You might start out as a project manager, focused on tasks. Then you grow into an account leader, where it's all about managing relationships. But the ultimate goal, the final evolution, is to become a publicitario, a true orchestrator of advertising outcomes.
So what the heck is a publicitario? Think of them like the modern conductor of the advertising orchestra. They don't just follow a process anymore. They strategically pull together both human talent and AI tools to solve real business problems for their clients. Their value isn't in doing the work themselves, but in knowing exactly which lever to pull, whether it's a human or a machine, to get the absolute best result.
And this is where the future gets really, really exciting. Because just think about what happens when you take your most creative people and you free them from the 80% of their work that, let's be honest, they probably secretly hate doing anyway.
AI can completely flip the script. Just imagine your creative teams going from spending 80% of their time on all that tedious service work to suddenly spending that same 80% of their time on big, bold, impactful ideas. We're not just talking about a little improvement here. We could literally be on the verge of a brand new golden age of advertising creativity.
Because for all its incredible power, there is one thing that AI just cannot do. It might be artificial intelligence, but you know what it's not? It's not artificial emotion. And building those deep, human, emotional connections that truly define great brands, that will always be a uniquely human skill.
So, the big takeaway here is this. Success in this new era isn't going to come from just learning how to operate the latest AI tool. No, it's going to come from having the wisdom to orchestrate both technology and human creativity to build something that's actually meaningful. And that leaves all of us with a final question to think about, one that goes way beyond just the world of advertising. As AI keeps automating more and more tasks in every single field, how are you building your career? Are you doubling down on being a specialist in one specific function, or are you becoming the generalist who's ready to orchestrate the future?